One look into Rachel Beaver's classroom and you can see she loves to teach. Her infatuation with teaching began when she was a student watching her teachers.
So I watched those teachers and I saw that they were funny, I saw that they were empathetic and understanding of different situations that they saw in kids' lives. And I thought that would be something that I could be good at.
Learning from these teachers inspired her, but some lessons were more difficult.
I had a teacher in preschool who said that I had to have a dad. They were making a Father's Day present, and I said, but I don't have a dad, because my parents weren't married, and my mom raised me alone, and she said, you have to have a dad. And I look back in that, and I realize that the most important thing we can do for kids is accept them for where they are and who they are. I was able to take those things that were difficult for me as a child and turn them into a much more approachable subject for a kid today.
Miss Beaver's journey to the classroom was unique. To understand, let's go back to where it started. With her son.
I was very fortunate that my son was able to come to Windsor Park as a student, and that's where I got my start here at Windsor Park, was as a parent, and then a substitute, and then an instructional tutor, and then I was fortunate enough to become a full-time teacher.
She's an amazing teacher. She's great with kids. She's got incredible empathy and intellect. So it was a natural fit to be able to add her. We just had the added bonus of having her part-time for many years before she was full-time.
All that experience could not prepare her for what lay ahead. Teaching in a pandemic meant reassessing her curriculum and relationships.
As I was looking at the prospect of not getting to see my kids' faces, of not getting to be able to give a hug, a fist bump, or a high five at the end of the day, which is something I've always offered, and how I was going to build relationships with kids that weren't even with me, that it was, this virtual situation. And so I saw a therapist. I'm not ashamed to say it. I used the district insurance to get me a therapist, and we met via Zoom, and she helped prepare me and to talk about how I could build relationships even through a camera. And that's what I've done.
I like her because she cares for both online and in person, and divides the attention equally.
That desire to care for all her students was evident when one virtual learner needed help.
A student last spring was literally sitting on the floor doing their work on a coffee table because they didn't have a kitchen table, or a dining room table, I guess, and the student didn't have a place to work. Anyway, she got that child a desk and got it delivered to that child's house.
That student is her student, and she was going to make sure that he had what he needed, and she was not accepting no for an answer, and she was going to figure it out, and she made it happen.
You're going to have kids that are homeless. You're going to have kids that are struggling in areas that you cannot help them. Can we solve every problem at the end of the day? No, but that's okay, because the problems that we're given to solve, we do. And our kids are growing and learning and becoming self-sufficient and resilient. And those are the things that we want them to learn.
Rachel has named her class the Beaver Bunch. She explains why she feels it's important for students to embrace their namesake.
They're busy, they're hardworking, they can change the flow of a river just by building a dam. So we talk about how they can be a beaver.
It's that feeling of, you belong to me, you are in the Beaver Bunch, and we're going to succeed. And she loves them into success.
For me, once a beaver, always a beaver. You're a part of a family. We're like a tribe.
It means to be a beaver, to be a part of her class, and to be part of a community. So she decided to make a bunch called the Beaver Bunch, and so that's what we're called. We actually have a song too, so yeah, that's cool.
But fifth graders still like to sing, they still like to dance, they still like stickers, they still like, stamps and all the silly things that first graders like, they still like them.
Beaver one, beaver all, let's all do the beaver crawl.
Beaver 4, beaver 5, let's all do the beaver drive.
I still have kids today, their moms are friends with me on Facebook or their dads, and they'll say, my kid still knows all the words to that song. It's such a honor and a true treasure to know that you've impacted kids in such a positive way. They won't forget me, and they won't forget the Beaver Bunch.
It's no surprise to her friends and colleagues that Rachel Beavers is Teacher of the Year.
I know that when we found out she had won, I called to congratulate her, and I said, "What are you doing?" And she says, "Teaching." I'm like, okay, of course, the Teacher of the Year would be teaching.
If there were a face of the modern educator, it should be imprinted with her image. She is truly remarkable.
To get this kind of honor is really just so touching to me personally, but also it makes me think, how hard all of us have worked, and it makes me feel grateful and humbled by the work that all of us are doing. You don't realize the impact you have. It's just little spots in this big universe of their lives, just little stars, but they remember, and it's important. And what we do is just probably the greatest profession on earth.